This is a fan commentary for the 2015 film Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, starring Harrison Ford, Daisy Ridley, John Boyega. There's a lot of people in this movie. Directed by J.J. Abrams. It was written by Lawrence Kasdan, J.J. Abrams, and Michael Arndt. From my understanding, is characters created by George Lucas. With me today is Drew from the internet.
I am from the internet.
Welcome back. It's been a long time since we did one together, but I forgot how much fun it was.
Yes, I'm so excited. I messaged you and I was just like, I'm sure somebody already has Force Awakens. And you were like, no, let's do it. I was like, yay!
Yeah, I'm trying to get back into a rhythm of these things. It's very helpful when someone volunteers. So it's terrific to have you.
Excellent. I'm glad to be here.
We are going to start the film right after the Lucasfilm logo has faded to black. So the first frame of all black that you perceive, pause, wait for us to do the countdown, and we're going to start up from there and leap into the movie. Ready?
I'm ready.
Anything to add before we start?
No, we have like 2.5 hours. We'll be fine.
Very, very good point. Yes. Oops. Actually, sorry. Okay. I was turning the subtitles on, and I already had them on. I switched to French.
Oh, that'll work.
Yeah. Okay, let's go in 3, 2, 1, go.
There we go. A long time ago. I know these words.
It's weird to see them again, isn't it? I mean, even with the prequels.
Every single time.
And they do a great job of, making sure that they look the same and
Actually, they don't.
Well,
I was going to bring that up.
They don't look exactly the same because they lost the font or something.
That's what it seems like. But when they recreated for Force Awakens here, you can tell by the R in the title that it's based on the font that they used in A New Hope and Return of the Jedi.
All right, now I was gonna read the opening crawl in the voice of the pod race announcer from Phantom Menace. Would that be okay?
Greg Proops, go ahead.
Yeah. That's right, Greg Proops, yes.
No, that's actually the actor's name.
Yes.
Not the character's name.
Yeah, I don't know what the character's name is.
He sounds like a Star Wars character
name. With the support of the Republic, General Leia Organa leads a brave resistance. Yeah. Is it very annoying?
You're a little bit older than me, I believe.
Yeah.
I remember watching the original trilogy on home video and having to have my dad read the crawl to me because I could not yet read.
Really?
Yes.
The originals or the prequels?
The originals.
Okay.
No, not that bad. I'm not that bad.
I have a nephew who loves these. Who when we watched them, he referred to C-3PO as the gold guy.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I've done my job as an uncle. Raising Star Wars fans.
Yeah, my nephew, he's 4 or 5, I don't remember, but he just watched this the other day. And his favorite part was the white guys with the backpacks and the fire guns. And I was like, the flame troopers, they're in like 8/16 of a second.
If you like that, I've got some Vietnam footage to show you. We'll enjoy.
So this is weird with the pan down with the ship coming. Like, we're not even looking at Jakku at this point.
I don't envy these guys trying to make this movie and having to look at the other films and going, what do we do? It's got to be so self-conscious. How do we open? We got to open on a ship. Do we open on a planet? Do we pan up? Do we pan down? George Lucas has, I think, the luxury of doing whatever he wants, and he just does whatever he wants when he made his films.
Oh yeah.
And these guys come at it from a different perspective of a reverence and nerdery that sometimes shows through a little bit, and it's unfortunate. But I like this opening.
Yeah, I do too. It's not really like a James Bond opening, but it's similar in that we're jumping into a middle of a mission kind of thing, which I guess the other Star Wars movies do too for about half of them.
Well, certainly, yeah, it's reminiscent of the original Star Wars movie when the stormtroopers attack and start shooting the place up, and it's their only success.
Hey, they strike back.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
And they kill those Jawas off screen.
Off screen.
It's the only time they're deadly is when they're off screen.
It's nice to see Max von Sydow here, but I'm not sure why he's in this movie.
It's very strange. Like, when they announced him, I was just like, I've heard of this guy. He's like super, like, Christopher Lee level, you know, going to be a huge major character. Wait, he's a guy whose name isn't mentioned on screen at all, who dies within the first 3 minutes. Okay?
Did he pay to be in the movie?
I mean, that's kind of what it reads like.
Oh, well. I don't know. Maybe they said we got a lot of unknowns here at the beginning. Maybe we open on a big, you know, beloved character actor and go from there.
But what else has he been in? I mean, I feel stupid for not looking this up before.
Oh gosh, he was in tons of stuff in the 60s where he played, you know, kind of those. Oh gosh, I mean, just so many things that he pops up in all the time. Minority Report is the only thing that comes to mind off the top of my head as a name, of course. But he was in Ingmar Bergman films and stuff like that in Sweden. That's where he comes from.
Oh. There's a lot of flipping stormtroopers in this movie.
Yeah, if you like stormtroopers, this is the movie for you.
There's so many of them, and they all end up exploding and flying backwards. And this is a good movie to bring your kids to, you know. Here's a village being murdered immediately.
And we get some blood even, which is a bit of a shock. We got very, very little blood in the old movies.
Oh, yeah. Except for the arm on the floor in the cantina.
Right.
The arm that doesn't belong to anybody actually involved in the fight.
No.
I don't understand how that happened.
It doesn't look like the guy who was harassing them. That's right.
No. Oscar Isaac here, I respect a whole heck of a lot more after watching Ex Machina. Like,
oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which also has General Hux in it, which is interesting. It's interesting to see them playing off each other like that. But now I can only imagine him dancing like he does in Ex Machina.
So here is Finn right at the beginning of the film here having a crisis of conscience in a character we know zero about.
Or we don't see his face for another 5 minutes beyond this.
Well, and on top of it, I mean, he is the kind of character who's not supposed to have a crisis of conscience. That's the only thing we know about him. It's a really strange choice.
I like the blood wipe though, so that we can keep an eye on him.
Yeah, I wonder how many meetings that took to come up with. But it's a
how do we tell him
choice.
Apart from everybody else? Yeah, I wish that behind-the-scenes thing on the Blu-ray was longer. Because, I mean, I just want to watch JJ have a nervous breakdown over and over again, like, oh God, what if I mess this up?
And you know he was thinking about that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He was lying awake nights going, is this the wrong direction?
Am I going to make it, if I make it too different, they'll hate me. If I make it too similar, they'll hate me.
Yeah, yeah. So we introduce now, Kylo Ren character. I love this mask. I love this. I love the character for the most part.
I'm not a huge fan of the mask design. I mean, I don't hate it, but it's not as iconic as I wish it was.
Well, it's kind of blank, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like it.
Now, at this point, I actually swore out loud in the theater. I felt bad when he blocks this bolt.
Yeah.
I did not expect that.
Yeah, it's a great little moment. Yeah, it's the defining moment of the scene for sure.
Because it's like, I did not know that was an ability that you could have.
No, Darth Vader just blocks some shots with his hand, I think. He didn't stop them in midair, so.
So I had a friend of mine helping me do research, and he had the visual guide to the movie. And it says that some say the incredible powers Kylo Ren has through the Force, such as the ability to stop a blaster bolt, are indicative of a greater awakening in the Force as a whole, meaning that more Force sensitives will be faced with the choice between dark and light. Which fits into my theory that I'll probably get into later. Because a lot of people
think
complain
too
about
much about
Rey.
this. Well, yeah, I have a theory about that also, but no, I'm comfortable with him being able to do that. Just it's new and it makes it fun to do it at the beginning. I don't like in general when movies start expanding their powers and stuff like that. You know, every time you meet Superman, he's got a new power. That sort of thing.
Cellophane S's and so forth.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Now, I'll tell you the one thing though that made me swear out loud, which is when Poe says, so who talks first? You talk first or I talk first? That is so self-aware. It's Whedon-esque. That's something out of a Joss Whedon movie. Nobody in Star Wars talked like that. Nobody in Star Wars was aware of the situation, you know, in that same way, I would argue.
Yeah. It's kind of something Han might say, but Han might tone it down a bit more.
Except that Han didn't care. Han doesn't care about who talks first. I mean, he's not a very self-aware character, I think.
I mean, but this is what happens when you make a movie in 2015. Is you acknowledge the Whedon kind of influence on movies.
Yeah, I love Joss Whedon, don't get me wrong. It just doesn't feel like one of the fun things about the Star Wars universe is its earnestness. And that is a moment where it betrays that ideal.
I like that bit that we were following around Poe, and then he walks off camera as Finn walks on camera, kind of tossing the narrative back and forth.
It's a clever way to do something that's really clumsy, because we have to, as an audience, shift our allegiance from one lead to another. And it's not, the only thing it's giving us in order to do that is the idea that I guess he doesn't like killing people, right? Or something, except that he goes on to kill a whole bunch of people.
A whole bunch of people.
Very quickly.
He doesn't like killing innocent people. But those stormtroopers, they can burn in hell.
Yeah. Guys just like me, you know, who were taken from their parents and trained from birth, forced to do this stuff.
I do like that he's FN 2187, the cell number the princess was in on the Death Star.
Is that the reference? Oh. Now all of a sudden I hate that.
Numbers are numbers. It just happens to be that number. It helped me because I can remember his stormtrooper name really easy.
Yeah. I like the name Finn. That's okay.
So, Rey.
Yes, here's Keira Knightley as Rey.
Wait,
what? It's not Keira Knightley?
No.
Oh.
But it looks enough like her that spawned several theories.
Yeah, well, yes, yeah, who knows? Yeah, Daisy Ridley is her name. I love her. I think she's terrific.
She's amazing. Like, I had no idea. Well, nobody had any idea.
Yeah. The acting, I mean, but the cast in general is great. The unknowns, I don't know if anybody else knew who John Boyega were, or Oscar Isaac, or Daisy Ridley for that matter, but, I think they all do a terrific job. They don't have the greatest, dialogue in my opinion sometimes, but, I think they're terrific.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for, because the prequels have a lot of, well, here's Liam Neeson, here's Ewan McGregor, here's Natalie Portman, and some kid. I don't
understand how this vehicle works. It looks like half of a 1942 pickup truck.
Yeah, how does it stay upright that direction?
She starts the engine and it seems to run on number 6 bunker fuel, and which is almost asphalt, you know. it kicks out this black smoke, and yet it hovers when it's turned off.
It looks weird. But we never really had a speeder thing that actually hovered. That was an actual physical object. I mean, there were hovering things all over the prequels. But like I was saying, the cast, I was really happy that they went with relative unknowns.
Also, why does she park in that spot and then drag that heavy bag of stuff?
I was wondering that when I was watching it this morning. Like, wait, why does she do that?
Is that her designated parking spot?
It's not marked or anything. We have Simon Pegg as Unker Plot here.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
he was he wanted to be in the movie, but he decided that he didn't want to distract people by being in the movie. Like, oh look, there's Simon Pegg. So he's like, put me in an alien suit. So they put him in a big hot alien suit that they had, like he moved the mouth and stuff on stage, but they on set, but they CG'd his face for a lot of his more intense expressions.
It's curious how much screen time the character gets, considering that he apparently has no real significance at all. I mean, he comes back a couple of times and everything. So, yeah, it makes sense that it turns out that he's actually somebody who's important to them, not to us as an audience.
Right.
Yeah. Was the same true of Lupita Nyong'o, that she didn't want to distract us with her exotic beauty?
I don't know.
So we'll get to that later. It was a weird choice.
I like that Ray lives in a walker. Note how I'm not going to call it an AT-AT or an AT-AT. We're not going to have that debate here. We only have 2 hours.
Fair enough. I was going to call it the giant dog robot.
That'll work too. Yeah, I've fought on this planet thanks to Star Wars Battlefront.
Ah, really?
Yeah. They had
this planet here, mission. Tatooine, you mean?
Sure. I was thinking of that. I don't like that it's a desert planet, just because, it draws the parallels of the orphan child living on the desert planet.
Who encounters a robot with a secret that the bad guy with the mask wants to find really badly.
Yeah. And then she has the help of someone you're not sure you can trust to get to the
to
Princess
use a
Leia
lightsaber
rebellion.
to get to Princess Leia. To that, yeah, in order to stop the giant base that destroys planets. That whole
plot. Yeah,
yeah, that's a little bit.
Maybe if she was on a jungle planet, we would
not even notice all the other stuff.
Notice.
How do you like BB-8? People went nuts for BB-8 before the movie came out.
Yeah. And I saw people after the first teaser who got BB-8 tattoos.
Yes.
And I was just like,
some of that.
I hope to God that this robot has nothing to do with anything. Kind of like how Watto was in the first teaser trailer for Phantom Menace. Like, oh God, I'm going to get this guy tattooed on my body and he has nothing to do with anything. I was really disappointed that BB-8 actually factored into the plot.
You want BB-8 to pop out some racist dialogue and,
yes.
And turn out to be a bad guy. Kill a dog. Oh my God, I got a tattoo of that guy.
So they call him, he's a BB-8 unit. Are there only 8 of them?
Yeah,
we have this problem with most of the robots. Like
right, yes.
C-3PO, he's a 3PO unit.
Yeah, R2-D2, he's an R2 unit.
Yeah, so there's only 10,
how many can there be?
260 different R2 units. It's a big galaxy. Here we get Poe Dameron's resistance to the mind probe is not considerable. Why didn't Vader do this?
Yeah, we don't see that hovering.
It's in the background. There's one in the background.
Bot
it's in this shot
with the hypodermic needles coming out of it. It's in the background.
Yeah, and the first shot of this, you can't see it again, but I believe in the first shot in this scene, you can see him walk past a floaty ball droid. So he can use the Force on it. Which, of course, if Vader had done that to Leia, he would have been like, well, wait a minute.
This feels weird. What's going on here?
See, there we go. A BB unit. One of 8. So I assume you know what a BB unit is, even though there's only 8 of them in the galaxy.
And there's only one that's painted orange, apparently.
Yes. As Poe says later.
As Poe says later, it's unique. If you see a round robot with painted orange, it's mine.
I like the BB-8 idea. I like the concept and the different ways that they puppeteered him.
It's very, very clever because it's different from R2 and C-3PO. Again, a very daunting task to come up with another droid that could be your companion.
Mm-hmm. Without being like, okay, look at these TIE fighters. They look like the old TIE fighters. Here's the X-Wings. They look like the X-Wings, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, here's a droid. Well, it looks completely unique, and, you know, the silhouette is perfect and everything. And
I was hoping it was going to be one of those upside down garbage cans with the
gonk
the
droid?
feet with the feet. That should be somebody's companion in one of these movies. What's great about that is that you know there's a real person in there. Mm-hmm. It's not a CG effect. I mean, well, I guess it could be, I suppose, but it's certainly not mechanical. There's got to be a real little person inside of it.
Inside of BB-8?
No, inside the gonk droid.
Yes.
The garbage can with the feet.
Yeah, a friend of mine is a member of the 501st, and he's making a gonk droid for his, 5-year-old daughter. So they're in love, right?
I guess, yeah, it seems like it. Just immediately. So he needs okay. Finn needs a pilot to get him out of here. So
so he figured he might as well.
I'll free this extremely high
profile
prisoner. There's nobody else who can fly around here.
I guess he knows that everybody else is super loyal. All the other 400,000 people in this gigantic Star Destroyer.
Can I say, the one thing that I noticed, the very first thing that I noticed that took me out of the film just a little bit at the very beginning, watching this in the theater, was the fact that Finn is a little thick. You know what I'm saying? He's a little thick in the thighs, you know what I'm saying?
It does. I mean, it's almost that you don't even need the blood swipe across his helmet. He kind of...
I think they may have made all of the stormtroopers in this a little thick for that exact same reason.
That could be too.
These are a little loose. Why don't we... No, shut up. Leave it. Leave it.
I like that it's just tethered to the... just can't pull free. I don't know why it cracks me.
I like that for some reason they have that machine gun thing lying around. They can just turn it around and start shooting instantly.
Yeah, it's some kind of elite TIE fighter that can shoot backwards. That's convenient.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that. Yeah, it's a little odd design. I agree.
But I mean, it is supposedly an elite TIE fighter. 2-man. But all the rest of them are single.
And we just got our first moment of Finn, the conscientious objector, deciding to blast his own comrades.
Yeah,
even the fact that as soon as he gets into the TIE fighter, he takes off his helmet because you have your star visible. But just that fact makes me go, why would he do that? He's a stormtrooper. He lives his whole life in that helmet.
It's hot in that helmet. I don't know.
Well, it's definitely hot in that because he's immediately sweating bullets for the whole first half of the film.
It is kind of arrogant of Poe to be like, I hate your name.
Yeah, I ain't using it. I'm gonna call you, let's see, FN? Finn.
It could be worse.
Could be Poe. Not a very good name either.
So I've been keeping up, or trying to keep up, with all of the new expanded universe.
Have you now?
Yes. So if you have questions, I may have answers.
There's some good stuff in the expanded universe. I was hoping that they would bring some over.
From the old expanded universe?
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, it's a rich thing to pull from. What's your favorite?
I think my favorite was 12 Years on Slave One.
I like that one, yeah.
And that one, I liked the duology of Secrets of the Lost Jedi Crystals, and Lost Secrets of the Crystal Jedi.
I can never keep those two straight.
Yeah, but one of them had Crystal Jedi, and the other one had Jedi Crystals. It's really easy.
It reminds me of Last of the Laser Dreams, some of this chase scene, I think.
Yeah. I think it's more. It's closer to Falcon Comes Alive. But that was
good.
I guess that was the one. That's more that they have a chase like this because the Falcons come alive, obviously.
Right.
And starts talking and stuff. But then that story, I remember there was a lot of controversy about that because it was too similar to Jedi Knight Rider, which caused a lot of controversy because Glenn A. Larson sued the author of that one.
Really?
Yeah, just too similar to Knight Rider.
We got Captain Phasma in there, and I got all the way to the end of watching this in the theater. I got all the way to the end of the movie before I went, is that a woman in that?
Really?
Like, that's weird. Like, I guess that character is important or something. Like, I have no idea what her name is.
She's a shiny stormtrooper. I've loved her since if I was going to get a tattoo of any character based on the teaser trailer, I was going to get Captain Phasma.
Well, that's the thing. I was disappointed because I was like, immediately I went, well, that seems like a great character. Why didn't they make her a great character? They didn't, though.
Yeah, it's weird. Supposedly she's still alive. Spoilers for the end of this movie. But
I hope so.
I loved this TIE fighter. That TIE fighter that he walked up to was a full TIE fighter that they built and put in the desert. And then that explosion was real. Like a lot of this stuff that we're used to, especially in Star Wars, being computer generated recently, they went out of their way to build a lot of physical stuff.
Yes, and that shows through because the physics works. So often when the problem with CG is not that it looks bad, but that it moves in an unrealistic way.
Yeah, like clone troopers' feet not really touching the floor, that kind of thing.
Yeah, stuff moving too fast. Yeah, Mission Impossible 5 has this bit where the car tumbles end over end, and it's like, nope. I know, I've never seen that happen in real life, but that's not how that would look if it was happening.
I haven't seen that one yet.
How do you feel about the incredible disappearing TIE fighter that sinks into the desert? And where exactly was Poe thrown free? Where physically was he at that moment?
It could have been. He could have been thrown
away?
out. He could have been thrown out while they were spinning in orbit and flew to the other side of the planet or something.
And survived anyway.
And then he said that. Oh, then he couldn't find the ship.
Right. Yeah. That's why I don't wear a safety belt when I fly in an airplane, because I want to be thrown free from the wreckage. I think it's safer.
So we had a bit there with Kylo and Hux, and I wonder what their ranking is. Like, Darth Vader went from just being, I'm here, I'm like the Emperor's envoy or something, but I have no real power in the first movie, to Empire, where he's leading the fleet, or at least the search for Skywalker. It's like, why is Kylo there? Like, is he just on a mission to find Luke Skywalker, and this is where he's been led to, and he's been, teamed up with Hux, and Hux is the one actually in charge? Or
that's one of the problems, one of the big problems with the film, in that the real answer is he's there because Darth Vader was there in the original movie. And J.J. Abrams and those guys, I don't think they've really thought it through beyond that. Like, well, I guess you have a Sith on a Star Destroyer because that sometimes happens, right? We saw it once.
It could be he's leading the search for Skywalker.
I guess so. How do you like Domhnall Gleeson as General Hux, though? He's fun.
I think he does really well. A lot of people, I seem to see equal amounts of people hating his character and the speech he gives later, and loving that. And I think it works really well. I think he's into it.
Yeah, it's a kind of thing you have to go all the way with. You certainly can't do it halfway.
Yeah.
It separates him from Grand Moff Tarkin, who was one of the problem characters with the original film, which was he just didn't do very much.
Mm-hmm.
he was supposed to be sort of the ultimate bad guy, but he actually was kind of ineffectual as a villain. At least here we get the sense that General Hux is on board with all of the evil and
he's a true
orchestrating
believer.
it. Yeah.
So we missed the bit where Rey defends herself, and I kind of like that. How Finn was just like, I'm going to help this poor girl. You know, I'm going to do good. I'm going to do the opposite of what it did as a stormtrooper. And then, so he runs up to try to help her, and she kicks everybody's ass.
Yeah, she doesn't need it. So there's somebody who's making robots who feel bad about things and have a conscience, and there's somebody who's making stormtroopers who are humans who don't feel bad about killing people.
Yeah, it's the stormtrooper thing, you know, it's just how you were raised. It's weird that he does have a conscience, because you'd think that's something they could beat out of him.
Yeah. You're sure that's not Keira Knightley? You're sure about that?
I'm relatively sure. I mean, she does express and move her mouth when she talks exactly like Keira Knightley.
Yeah. Although I like the character of Finn, I have a problem. Like, well, this whole bit, right? He grabs her hand, and it's like it's played for laughs because she doesn't need it, and he does it a couple of times, and she's like, "Stop grabbing my hand." But he's a stormtrooper who doesn't have feelings. I mean, that's his whole training. So the one thing that he wouldn't do is grab her hand and run with her. You know?
Yeah, it may be. I forget the little short story that they had that takes place before this of Finn. But, I mean, it may be that because he's familiar with Han Solo, the rebellion general and stuff, he may have this idea of heroism.
You think, as a young stormtrooper, he read all the Han Solo comic books?
Right, something like that. I like BB-8 flying through the air. Whee! So I saw this twice in theaters, opening night in 3D, and then a couple weeks later I saw an IMAX on the film, the 15x70 perf.
Oh, okay, yeah.
With Mike from Commentary Track Stars, actually. He came down to Indianapolis and watched it with me.
Wow, that's cool. Okay.
So everything from them running away from the tent a couple shots ago is all in IMAX, and full frame. Like the characters running here are toward the bottom of the frame, so I had to actually lean up in order to see them over the heads of the people in front of me.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like a great idea to have a gigantic screen like that, but there's a reason why movie screens are as big as they are, because there's a limit to the practicality of how big that you can make the screen.
And everything that wasn't IMAX, they messed up something taking the 35 millimeter and blowing it up, because everything looked soft and kind of gross. Like the whole rest of the movie, it was. But the IMAX,
I think it would.
Cool.
I mean, it would, wouldn't it? If you're blowing up a 35 millimeter frame to a 70 millimeter,
yeah,
that's just going to happen.
I saw Dark Knight in IMAX. I didn't have that problem.
Oh,
and it flips back and forth between things. This whole sequence was in IMAX. It was really hard to pay attention though, so I'm glad that I saw it regular first.
So, stuff like this always bothers me because it's happened in some other science fiction movies too, like Galaxy Quest, where a ship crashes or smooshes against something, and somehow the ship is indestructible.
That's a good point.
This thing flies in space still. It's a complete hull integrity, in spite of the fact that it just dragged on the ground for a while.
It's sand.
It crashed into a building.
It does. In a few seconds, it scrapes against the side of a Star Destroyer, and there's sparks and stuff.
That really is like...
You'd think Finn would, like, his gun would have fallen off at that point. I'll have to point it out.
That really is like Galaxy Quest, where they scrape up the side of the ship. The plot certainly moves. They do a nice job of keeping things rolling
to
here.
A point.
With the pacing. There's a moment, there is a moment where it starts to slow down in the middle, I agree. Yeah. But this whole first part,
I've watched this part. I've watched this Falcon thing. There she is scraping it. I've watched this Falcon thing like 6 times. I just keep like, well, I gotta make sure this file works. And then I watch the whole thing. I'm like, oh, okay. Like they get shot there. Never comes to anything. But of course, if they were constantly patching holes, it wouldn't be very exciting.
Yeah, there's some kind of an unwritten rule that you have shields and they can shoot the shields a bunch and it somehow hurts you, but you don't have to repair it. Yeah.
Like it causes fires and explosions inside. I mean, that's the way Star Trek's so.
Yeah, tubes fall out of the ceiling and stuff. But there are no janitors that come in and fix it. Like, that happens later, I guess.
It happens in between episodes.
Like, I'd be like, can't you tie those things up so they don't... Why is that always falling down?
Why are there rocks in your ceiling? What has rocks in the ceiling of a ship? I don't understand. So here we've got an upside-down Super Star Destroyer that they fly into. Originally, the visual effects guys was just like, it's just regular Star Destroyer, but then they did the math and it was like, it would fly through it in 3 seconds. We can't. That's not very exciting. And they made sure to have a thing that's just wide enough for a Corellian freighter to fly through.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. Why does a ship have so much empty space in it that another ship could fly through?
They said they based it on the interior of the Death Star too.
I was just going to say the whole reason this is here is basically, how do we do this? Well, remember those other Star Wars movies? Do it just like that. Where they build a giant thing and it has gigantic amounts of empty space in the middle of it for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to want to fill it up with people. That'd be expensive. I like this bit where they're talking over each other.
They're congratulating each other.
And BB-8's like, guys. And everyone understands robot. Everybody understands robot.
No, Finn doesn't. I think he says he doesn't understand
but
it. But
everybody else understands robot.
Yeah, she does, even though she's certainly never seen one of those before because she would have sold it for food.
Yeah. And she understands Wookiee, which is weird too, but she's been around, I guess, or people have been around her.
Yeah, she says she's never been off the planet before. Which is odd that she would be a pilot and then...
This shot was really hard in 3D. That's what it was. That wipe... That wipe from, we're inside the Falcon to a ship in space, like poking out at you. That transition was really difficult for your eyes. Like, now, there's a Star Destroyer in my face.
If you're this guy, like, have they lost texting technology? Because I would just text this information to him. There's no way I would go to that room.
Yo, CeeLo. And they seem to expect it, so...
Yeah, he knows what's up. He knows what's this has happened before. And the thing, he's talked to a friend about this.
Right.
Like, I gotta go give him this bad news. You know how he's gonna react. I know, but you gotta just, take it. When the sparks are flying.
Hux may do it to people he doesn't like. No, you can't text him. You've got to go talk to him.
And it's like, he's not gonna strangle you to death, right? I mean, right? Well, he's not an unreasonable man.
You seen that SNL skit that they did with Adam Driver?
No.
Where Kylo Ren, it's an undercover boss parody. And so he describes himself as, was it Steve or something, the, technician. And, it's Adam Driver, and he's just talking to everybody like, what do you think about that Kylo Ren guy? I think he's really cool. Like, his lightsaber's really awesome. They're like, Yeah, sure.
They're all just trying to do their jobs.
But then they, keep making fun of Kylo Ren. He's like, that's not true. And then he like throws people around and chokes them. And when he reveals himself, they're all like, we know.
There's a little thumbs up. That's
the thumbs
a cute
up
little
is
thing.
the best.
Yeah. That sells it. Yeah, that's definitely there's a little bit of an R2D2 kind of a thing going on there.
I like this bit where she's pointing to the thing.
Yeah, not
find
that
it.
Over there. The one I am pointing at.
That's real life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
I don't know. I mean, my wife is constantly like, it's over there, not there.
That's me helping someone on their computer. Click save. Click save. The thing that says save. That thing up in the corner.
The floppy disk icon. I know you don't know what a floppy disk is, but I like him climbing on. I don't like him putting his hand on her head, but I like him climbing in the cockpit.
I like the relationship between the two of them too, where I don't know what it is. There's a good chemistry that I don't know. He's obviously attracted to her. He says specifically, do you have a boyfriend? Is that why you're trying to go back to the planet or whatever? But they have an interesting sort of fun, friendly dynamic. It's not a bickering romantic comedy kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's friendlier than that.
It's just two people trying to get out of situations. Trying to do the right thing in the worst way possible.
And it's heartening to think that a former stormtrooper could immediately make friends with someone else and not be a damaged. Did you see the film Soldier with Kurt Russell?
I did not.
He plays a kind of a stormtrooper-esque character. He's raised from birth to be a soldier and to obey rules and be tough and have no fear and no sympathy and so on. We see some of his training as a kid and that kind of thing. And of course, in the course of the movie, he ends up separated from his unit and on this planet and has to help out this woman and becomes sort of tamed by her, as it were. And kind of the whole movie is an exploration of what happens if you damage a person that way. And in this movie, they go, no, he's fine. He's fine. He took off the helmet. I mean, that's what mostly makes you a stormtrooper.
Harrison Ford's in this movie.
That's what I've heard. Yes, Harrison Ford.
I don't recognize him in this because he looks like he's trying to act, and I've not seen him do that in like 15 years.
Somewhere between frantic and witness or something around there.
Because he actually seems to be having a good time, which doesn't seem. He smiled. See him smiling?
There's a little bit of smiling there. Yes.
That's not possible. Like Ender's Game. He's not. Like Ender, just kid. I don't care. And this one, he's just like, "Hey, Millennium Falcon. Hey, Jedi are cool," and blah 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 blah. And he's like,
"Yeah,
all hyper." It makes me happy. I mean, he wasn't this hyper in Indiana Jones, and it's an action movie. Indiana Jones 4. I heard they made a fourth one.
I heard that too. There was a rumor anyway on the internets. You are Han Solo that fought with the rebellion.
And
it used to make me a kid.
It's interesting that Finn knows him as the rebellion general, and she only knows him as like the legendary smuggler. Because he only knows of the war, and she only knows of the disreputable people in the galaxy.
I guess. He's a legend among the smugglers. You are the Handleton Ethelbert Solo, aren't you? and that guy, the Wookiee, he must be Chewbacca Ethelbert Abramowitz. That would be great if Finn knew their full names, because those are their full names from the original extended universe novels, of course.
Oh yeah, they revealed that in the Wookiee Rebellion trilogy.
With the Wookiee Rebellion, Dagobah in Retrograde, I think it was in there.
And, of course, it was in the Dark Family of Han Solo.
The murder of TK-421 had that novel that was entirely from the Imperial point of view.
There was the one from Greedo's point of view, I, Rodian.
Yeah. And of course, like one of my favorites, although it was kind of a light entry, I Stand Before You, a Humble Nerf Herder.
Yeah, yeah, that one was the one. He did reveal his name in that one, because his mom was in that one.
Yes, exactly. Ethel Solo, which is how we got the Ethelbert middle name. Exactly. And of course, he and Chewbacca. I mean, the way they became friends is that it's like, oh, you have the same middle name as me, Ethelbert, like that sort of thing. Let's never mention this again. That was my favorite part at the end, because then that made sense that they never mentioned it in the movies.
Exactly. Chewie, your last name's the Wookiee. How about that? Hiding his Jewish heritage.
That's right.
So we've got weird group number 1 over
yes.
here. Whose his guards are figures from the first wave of figures for this movie. And I saw it at the store the other day, and I'm like, I could not tell you where this character is from. What are they? Why is this from the first things? Of course, another one of the first wave of characters is some kind of, like, the guy who runs that town that Rey lives near.
Oh, yeah.
And he's not in the movie at all. They're like, oh, we deleted his scenes. But he's not in the deleted scenes even. But,
oh, not the guy. Oh, okay, not the Simon Pegg character.
You could buy his action figure.
Oh, man. This is such a Firefly moment. Like, I just expect Nathan Fillion to step in and go, wait a minute, let me help you out with this.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. I like that the subtitle font there is accurate to the original trilogy. The font with the shading and everything, it's perfect.
Oh, yeah, for the alien subtitles?
Yeah, actually, I said yes when I saw it. Like, I love the stupidest things. I mean, and because the last time we got subtitles from J.J. Abrams, they were the weird Into Darkness subtitles where they kind of floated and faded and all kinds of weird stuff. Oh, we let the Mad Balls loose. Remember Mad Balls?
Mad Balls?
Yeah, they were little baseball-sized squeezy toys that had, like, ugly faces on them.
Oh,
it's an 80s thing.
Rings a bell. Yeah, that rings a bell now.
It's a little bit before my time. I figured maybe it's in between our times.
I didn't remember that's what they were called, but I certainly remembered them. Yeah.
Apparently,
you're right. And
this is like before Harrison broke his leg.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he injured himself on this. Or wait a minute. This is right around the time he crashed his airplane too, right?
Oh yeah, he did a lot of. I think he did the airplane thing after they filmed.
Oh, okay.
But Han picks up a guy and throws him into the mouth of one of the monsters, which is George Lucas wouldn't have had him do that.
I don't think so.
If George Lucas made a special edition, he would have made it so that the Rapthar ate first or something.
Yes, of course. How do you feel about the parsecs conversation? That was one of the things that really bugged me. Like, no, too much. Leave that.
It was a little much, but I mean, I liked it in theaters, the first time. But I mean, if he's going to have this, it's either a lie that he's always bragging about, or yes, parsec is a unit of distance, but it's about skirting the outer edge of a black hole, which is the actual EU explanation. Then,
well, Lucas says that in the commentary.
Actually,
the film. Yeah.
It's the only thing that he acknowledges from the EU. Other than putting that Twi'lek Jedi in the prequels just because he thought she was hot.
Is that the case? Yeah.
I mean, that's the case. Yeah, he's. I want to put this girl in the prequels. Well, I remember reading about, there was an article about LucasArts in Game Informer, and how they were working on a game that never came out, but it was going to be, take place 3,000 years before. No, they were working on a Darth Maul game, and George walks into the office and is just like, and he picks up a Darth Vader action figure and an action figure of like this guy who lived from the 3,000 years before New Hope era. And he's like, he pointed the figures toward each other and said, "They're friends." And then he just walked out. So like, he doesn't care about the expanded universe. So they had to like rewrite the game so that, okay, Darth Maul is guided by this ancient dead Sith.
Wait a minute, they just took that as gospel?
Yes,
they had to write that
because
in?
Lucas said it said it was the case. But the game got canceled when Disney bought them out. I think they were grateful for that. But that's how it used to roll. If George said something, it was the truth.
Oh boy!
I just imagine
I like
George,
this visual effect here.
They're friends.
Yeah, yeah.
We get a in-cockpit star swipe thing that we never get in the prequels. The jump to warp hyperspace they never do from inside a cockpit in the prequels.
Oh, okay.
So you never see the streaking stars.
It never occurred to me.
So this shot, if I understand, I watched a panel with VFX guys. In this scene, Kylo Ren originally had his helmet off, but they didn't want to reveal his face yet, and they'd rearranged this scene to happen. It originally happened later. So that when they moved it forward, they CG'd a helmet on him. And so before they were done, they actually had some shots where you could see him holding his helmet while his helmet was on his head.
It's an extra helmet. Snoke here has taken some flack.
Yeah, I don't
not sure
follow.
why.
They're like, oh, he looks fake. He's a hologram for one thing. This may not even be what this guy looks like. This may be a Wizard of Oz situation. I mean, it's obviously a Wizard of Oz situation because I'm sure he's not 100 feet tall.
Well, that's the weird thing, though, because in Star Wars, they very carefully made sure that all of the holograms had a certain look to them. They look like, 1940s early television footage.
Mm-hmm. And even in this movie.
Whereas he looks quite real here. So I'm not sure what they were trying to do. But you're right. I mean, he can't really be that big. I mean, it's silly, right?
But Andy Serkis as the as Snoke here, Snopes. He's just debunking theories. That's all he does. But I like how they filmed this stuff. They put the guys on a stage and then put Andy Serkis in a mocap suit on top of a wall, and then just had them all look up at him as he did all the action from on top of a wall, so that they were all on set at the same time. It's the little things. It's better than like, okay, walk down this hallway. We've got a guy here who is filling in for General Grievous, but, we're not actually going to bring Matthew Wood on stage and have him talk like Grievous. We're just going to have some guy feed you lines from off set. But look at this dot.
With a sandwich in his hand.
Yeah. Look at this guy with a pogo stick, and then...
You are sure that's not Keira Knightley?
The more you say it, the more I feel like Keira Knightley's a little bit older now.
Maybe?
Maybe they filmed this a while ago.
Maybe? Is it like a Dakota Fanning, Elle Fanning thing?
It could be.
Is her name Knightley? Is it Daisy Knightley?
Daisy Knightley Ridley.
Oh.
So these are stop motion guys.
No, that was not done. No.
Yes.
That was
They
done stop
brought
motion?
Phil Tippett back in and had his stop motion. They brought in what they did was they brought in a new generation of stop motion guys and had Phil Tippett say, "Yeah, that looks good," so that they could say that Phil Tippett did the holograms.
Oh, of course, yes.
But they are stop motion,
like the way Stan Lee is an advisor on
exactly
comics movies.
But yeah, those are stop motion and recreations of some of the original puppets, so that it completes the actions from. They're all in the same position they were the last time we saw the board.
Okay, I thought it was silly at first. When I first saw it in the theater, now I hate it. Now I hate it.
Nobody's turned it on in 30 years. What's wrong with that? No, that's kind of silly. But I like the idea of like, well, if we're gonna do it, let's bring in Phil Tippett to do it. I'm not sure how they're walking around inside this hologram that BB-8 is projecting, because none of them are blocking the projector.
He's bouncing it off of reflective objects on the ceiling?
Could maybe. It makes for cool 3D effects, though, when you see it.
Yeah. The Jedi, the Force, all of it, it's all true. I don't have any feel for it myself. I don't...
I'm one of the three, because I'm not related to Darth Vader.
That'd be great if he really was bitter. Like, I don't have any feel for it. I still think it's all hokey nonsense, really, if you ask me. But I've seen it. It seems to work.
I know my wife has it. My son has it.
My wife, yeah.
My brother-in-law has it. I mean, but they're all related, so that makes sense.
And they can all make really good fried eggs. I can't make good fried eggs either. I don't know what the deal is. It's I don't know if they go together or if it's an accident. It's just coincidence. So, and we've flown into, I believe this is Phantom Menace.
It is very Phantom Menacey. I noticed earlier, and I appreciate the fact that you can see another ship parked on the other side of the tree line there. So it's not like, I found a parking spot like she did earlier on Jakku. It's like it's an actual parking spot.
There are no signs, though, right?
Right.
There should be some parking signs.
Because it's not Docking Bay 94.
There should be, it should be 2-hour space parking. Except on Saturdays.
And
women always figure out the truth, kid. Remember that. Always. I'll be here giving up some more fatherly advice for the next 30 minutes.
I'm going to be the father none of you ever had.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, good point.
Okay, so Rey. Everybody assumes that she's related somehow, and that Han knows. Han knows something about her, because there's too many cutaways of, like Maz later, like, what's with the girl? And Han just kind of looks at her and it cuts away.
What's your name? Rey. Is that short for Raymond?
Because I left a Raymond on Jakku. I didn't know if it was a girl or a boy. So, like, if she is related, if she's Luke's kid and Han knows it, Han is a dick. Because he, more than anybody else, should know how dangerous it is to not tell somebody that they're related. Now, I know I've got a son. He's out there. He's kind of cute. Don't fall for him. He's your cousin.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how that would work. I at no point did I think that she actually was related to any of the main characters. That seems
I hope against
so on the nose.
Because we have a reveal. We have a family connection already.
Right. Yes.
And it's just too... Can we follow somebody who's not necessarily a Skywalker?
That's kind of the obsession that the extended universe has. It's like, let go of those characters and go make up your own characters,
Even there was a series, there was a series called Legacy of the Force, and it was a comic series that took place like 100 years after Return of the Jedi. And it's about Luke's grandson. It's like, stop it.
We need more stuff like Howl of the Night Hut, which was entirely about the Hut, the Hut characters. And that was a werewolf story, actually. It was.
Yeah, my favorite was the prequel, Jabba's Sweat.
Jabba's Sweat, yeah.
So everything in this place is real, puppets and people and stuff, except for the character that we focus on, which is kind of weird.
It's very weird. That's played by Lupita Nyong'o. She's a very exotic person with the one thing that is not exotic about her is her accent. She has a pretty ordinary voice and American accent. And that's the thing that we put in the movie for some reason.
This background music written by J.J. Abrams and Lin-Manuel Miranda from the musical Hamilton.
They used this music in the musical Hamilton?
No.
Oh, that would also seem terribly out of place because it made no sense in this movie. The great thing about the Cantina song in the original film is that it doesn't sound like anything on Earth. It sounds like music you would hear in a space cantina because it doesn't fit any of our styles, really.
It's kind of jazz.
Kind of. I don't know. I don't know. There's Polynesian elements to it, I suppose, or something. I don't know. And then they replaced it with that horrible. Oh, no, I'm thinking of the Jabba's.
You're thinking of the Jabba scene. Oh, okay. Yes.
The Jabba's palace scene, that song is utterly horrible.
Yeah, Laptinek is unique and stuff, and then they replace it with Jedi Rocks. Why did they call it Jedi Rocks?
Oh, God, yes. But they replaced the Cantina song also, didn't they,
No.
from the original?
No.
Yeah.
I'm the expert in these things.
Okay. But I don't know. They should have done something more along those lines, I guess. Of course, that would have underscored even more that this is basically the Star Wars Cantina from the first film.
Yes.
Also.
Let's keep it different a little bit.
Although it's a high-end cantina, I must say. They have fruit on the table and everything. It's like an Olive Garden, really. This is like a space Olive Garden.
Where are my unlimited breadsticks?
Leia doesn't want to see me. Please, we came here for your help.
I like that Rey's just like, look at this fruit. She's the only one eating. She's got her mouth full even.
Yeah.
So, do you really think that she's run this place for 1,000 years? Like, or is that just Han exaggerating? Because the way she talks, she sounds ancient. Like, I've seen the Empire come and go and the Sith and all that kind of stuff.
Well, if I choose not to believe that, because then she would be Guinan from Star Trek.
Oh.
And I didn't like that character either.
Oh.
However, if I had a pair of glasses that could do that, I would do that all the time.
Zoom.
Get angry at them and then to make my eyes real big.
Now, this goes, like, I don't understand. Okay, she sees, like, the eyes of a man who wants to run. So it's not like she is force sensitive. They mention in, like, the visual dictionary and some deleted scenes. So she is kind of like, oh no. She's like a Troy Guinan mix. She's not a full empath.
I actually was willing to believe that she was secretly a Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
But of course that kind of negates the idea that Luke Skywalker is the last of the Jedi. But
And she does say she's no Jedi later on.
Because what happens next is very Yoda-like. She's already pretty Yoda-like.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll talk about that when we get to it too. I also don't quite understand this idea. Like, Finn more or less says, we should run away. And then she says, I'm looking into your eyes. You're a man who wants to run away. And he's like, you don't know me. Like, wait, what?
Run away.
Wait a minute. What? And then he runs away. Yeah, exactly.
Wait a minute. Yeah.
And then she turns her incredible powers of perception on the girl and says, who's the girl?
Yeah. Who the heck's this girl?
Who's that girl?
Who is that girl? Which, if she was, like, related to somebody, I think that Maz would be like, she looks like you, or she looks like Skywalker.
The one thing I know about J.J. Abrams is that you can't believe anything that he says
that's
about
true
anything
too.
Because a lot of times he hasn't figured it out himself. So he'll just make it up as he goes along.
Oh, George did that too.
To a good degree, yes. I agree.
To a huge degree.
Yes.
Well, I was making up random titles of EU books, but it reminded me of the original Expanded Universe book. And the big problem with the Legends EU is that it took everything seriously, from Splinter of the Mind's Eye, which was written in 1978, to the Marvel Comics, where there's a green rabbit that hangs out with Han Solo, to the latest comic book, to this subplot in this video game, like everything. But the writers didn't realize that what they were writing was going to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
But in Splinter of the Mind's Eye, like, Lucas had Alan Dean Foster write a book that he could adapt into a cheap sequel. Like, and had him cut out like space battles and reuse props and not have Han Solo in it because he didn't know if Harrison Ford would come back for a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all this stuff. And Luke and Leia are hot for each other in that book. You can't tell me that Luke always knew. No. I always knew that they were siblings and Vader was their father. And no, you didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this movie because I like this part.
Yeah. So this is basically, I realized on rewatching, this made no sense to me in the theater, but on rewatching, I realized this is basically Luke going into the magic cave tree.
It's 100% that. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the Force awakening in her.
Mm-hmm.
I did not get that in the theater originally. And part of what misled me was when, what's her name? Maztak? What's her name again?
It's just Maz, I believe.
Whatever. When she says, the lightsaber calls to you, that kind of made me go, I don't get that. What does that mean? But it's more like the Force in general is calling to her.
Through the lightsaber that's been through a lot, which this is kind of, the vision is kind of a history of the lightsaber in parts. If I'm interpreting it correctly. I watched it a few times today trying to figure it all out. So
it's her past too.
She immediately flashes to Cloud City, right outside the gantry.
This is what that is?
Yeah.
I mean, that
and you can
corridor?
hear, at this point, Luke yelling, no, denying his father. That lava kind of stuff makes me wonder if Luke went to Mustafar and tried to, like, not follow his father's footsteps, but follow in his father's. Like,
we hear Yoda
footsteps.
and Obi-Wan speak there. We're seeing some of her fears. That's what I noticed about this. This is her fear. And it goes right back to her childhood.
And somebody leaving her behind. But whom? And then they got...
Well, she says it's her parents, right? I mean... right?
Yeah, who are her parents?
Right, yes.
So they got Ewan McGregor to come back and say, these are your first steps. And...
Oh, really?
Yeah. So what happened was they got... they wanted Ewan... Alec Guinness. They wanted Alec Guinness to say Rey. So they took him saying afraid from one of the Star Wars movies and cut out the and the d. So he just says Rey. And it sounds like a question. And then these are your first steps. Originally they got the guy who does Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars, in the cartoons. James Arnold Taylor, one of those two. They got him to do it because he does a pretty good mixture of Alec Guinness and Ewan McGregor in his characterization. And it's passable enough, but I don't remember how it came, like if Ewan called them up, or I guess they expected never hear back from him. And he's just like, no, I'll come. And so he just rode in on his motorcycle, said, these are your first steps, and then like rode off into the distance.
Still sitting on the motorcycle.
No, I'd love to do that. I'd love to come in and just read a line, just one line.
In fact, I'll do some extra ones. This is pod racing.
No, wait. They didn't have James Earl Jones come in and re-record all that.
No, I am your father.
This is pod racing.
This is CNN.
I've always said that the prequels are watchable if you pretend. If you rehear all of Anakin's dialogue as Darth Vader. Are you an angel? An angel, I heard the deep space pirates talk about them.
That is the worst dialogue in any movie.
Creatures in the universe.
Are you an angel?
Hey,
I tried rewatching Phantom Menace with one of the fan cuts. I think it's the no cheese edit or something like that. And I just went, boy, nope, still terrible. Even redubbing Jar Jar Binks. The acting is horrible. It's just awful. The physics don't look right, and the acting is I mean, it's racist acting somehow. It feels like a character out of a 1930s movie.
So here we get Hux in a cool overcoat. I need one of these. And his
Bring
flappy
an end
hat.
to the Senate, to their cherished fleet.
God. And he's not spitting on the camera. That's usually what would happen at this point.
The thing is, they had to bypass Rick Moranis for this role. He was right there. He had already played Dark Helmet.
If he just hadn't retired from acting.
No, say it isn't so.
I was disappointed. I have Lego Dimensions. It's a really cool game where it mixes.
I am also disappointed that you have Lego Dimensions.
Hey. You get a bunch of little and it comes with physical figures and stuff. But
wait a minute, a Lego thing that comes with Legos? Wow, that's a great idea.
Anyway, I bought the Ghostbusters expansion, and
okay.
You play. So it's basically a little Lego Ghostbusters game, and everyone is voiced by their actual dialogue from the original movie, except for Rick Moranis.
Oh,
like Sigourney Weaver let them use her voice. Everybody. And Rick Moranis is just like, no, you're going to have to redub me.
Oh, because he wanted to be paid.
I guess, yeah.
So here we are with this. What are we calling this?
Hosnian system.
We got some kind of a thing that has multiple lasers that shoots different planets all at once. Mm-hmm. For some reason, they can see it coming. I'm not sure how that works exactly. Yeah. You can see a laser coming.
It may not be a laser. Well, I guess it is. I don't know. And you can see it from another planet. JJ's obsessed with people watching the destruction of other people's planets from other planets.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
At least you made him smaller this time.
Yeah, we gotta make this more believable. Just make him smaller. And put some lens flares in there.
Oh, of course.
That makes everything more believable.
At least he's not shining flashlights in the camera this time.
She should be sitting on a rock, and BB-8 should roll up to her, and somehow he should have some kind of an arm that he puts around her and everything, comforts her and everything. That'd be great.
Oh, yep, you gotta go. Okay, this is a cool shot, but are they coming from the other side of the planet? Because the sun's still up.
I don't. Are they flying through an atmosphere? I
don't know.
TIE fighters?
I don't know.
I don't know how these spaceships work.
I guess. I mean, TIE fighters have to fly through must be able to fly through an atmosphere because that was Poe's plan, and they did come attack them on land. But it's weird that the sun is going down in that shot when the sun's not going down in any other shot, and that made me sad when I realized that. And then they just blow the crap out of everything.
Yeah, that's what I would use TIE fighters for. Is a bombing mission? I guess is what they're doing?
Yeah, where are the TIE bombers? I guess that would be, you would assume that their explosions would actually wipe out that thing too quickly, and then all the characters would be dead.
Oops, safety. Oops, the safety's on. Oops.
Oh,
I heard you say safety.
Is that like base?
I'm still not fast enough to shoot you before you shoot me, though.
Stormtroopers.
Dumb old stormtroopers.
Doesn't matter if they're clones, or if they're conscripts, or if they're actually taken from their family's children. They'll always be mostly ineffectual.
Only stormtroopers' shots are this precise, though. So imagine how the Sand People's shots must be. They're just wildly firing in all directions all the time.
Luke, you know that the Sand People wouldn't be able to hit this sandcrawler at all.
I've literally seen them shoot themselves sometimes.
It's hard to do that with their long weapons, but they manage to do it every time.
Yeah.
So one of these stormtroopers that announces that the ships are coming in when the X-Wings come in a few minutes is Kevin Smith. Not in the outfit, obviously, but voiced by.
Obviously, because then all of the stormtroopers would have to be even thicker.
Yes.
And wearing hockey jerseys. Why is that stormtrooper wearing a hockey jersey?
A hockey jersey that just says traitor.
Okay, this is my least favorite part of the film right here. A stormtrooper inexplicably has some sort of a swingy gun device thing that can fight off a lightsaber. Who is this character?
He's thing is, I know.
Why is it, if nothing else, why is it not the woman, Captain, what's her name?
His name is Nines, and...
His name is Nines.
No, he's FN 9999, I believe. And they, like, there's a short story collection. It just has a Poe story and a Finn story and a Rey story. And the Finn story is about him and his, closest friends. And in one part, they take melee training, specifically so that scene is justified. Oh, they all have melee training.
It's just terrible, though. What is that thing that it can fight off a lightsaber?
It's a riot control baton. Is if you buy the action figure
that fights off rioting Jedis, of course. Well, that makes sense now.
In the prequels, they had those Grievous's guards had those electrical sticks that blocked lightsabers.
There's no way to defend it. This is just as dumb as Rancor's Dental Dilemma, a Coruscant Zoo Adventure. What happened in that book, that was terrible.
Yeah, I forgot about that story.
Indefensible.
I like that these X-Wings were able to pick off all of those stormtroopers. I mean, I guess the stormtroopers are wearing white against black, but to not hit, any of our characters, including the 7-foot-tall Wookiee. And here's Poe blowing up everything.
I was going to say, what would be great is if he was also a terrible shot at this point. Like, man, and the Rey is like, well, you can't hit anything. I know. I don't know what it is. Or maybe it's only when he takes off the helmet that he's like, that's been the problem the whole time. The helmets have been restricting our vision.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We should just be wearing face paint.
Why do we even need to wear helmets? If we get shot, we die anyway.
We die anyway, yeah.
And our helmets only filter out smoke, not toxins, for some reason.
That also happens.
So Kylo's sword here, let's admit it, was obviously taken from Iron Fist of the Obsidian Sith.
Oh, definitely, yes. It's the only real good fan movie reference that I've seen.
Now,
but it's obvious.
Wait a minute. So Iron Fist had this lightsaber. It had a droid kind of like BB-8, didn't it? And it was shot.
It was a different color.
But it was shot on film. Wait, who directed that? Do we even know? Could it have been J.J. Abrams who directed the mythical, legendary fan film Iron Fist of the Obsidian Sith?
That is a great theory. We know that he directed some early films when he was a kid because he says in Super 8 that all that stuff was stuff he did himself.
Yeah, maybe
he made those Super 8 films.
Yeah, Iron Fist of the Obsidian Sith was shot on Super 8.
Oh man, that ties it, man. Boy, good catch.
It's canon, so I'm gonna say it's canon. So everybody look for that, that fan film.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure what happened there, where he like stopped her, he froze her, and then he's talking to the other guys, and then he's like, "I'll just carry her back to my tent."
I guess he could have just floated her over there.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, why is he carrying her? Why doesn't someone else carry her?
Because they're cousins. I hope not.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, and then there's the people already making theories about Rogue One. Like, oh, well, there's a strong female character in this movie. It must be Rey's mom. Like, why on earth would everybody have to be related? Let's let these spin-off movies not be about Skywalkers.
Yeah, they gotta. I mean, the new movies should tie together to each other somehow. I mean, in some ways.
But it should not. I don't think that the Han Solo movie should have ties into the secrets of Episode 9 by that point.
I just want to see more of the smuggler, the world of the smugglers.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that it's kind of like there was a book just before the old EU ended that was
Calrissian.
No, but it had Lando in it. It was a real book. It was an actual book.
Oh, gosh. You're ruining the whole joke.
And it was like a heist.
Like talking about real books. I want to talk about Shrieks of a Far-Off Womp Rat, and you're talking about actual books.
You just try. No, I'm hoping that it's kind of a heist movie.
Oh, that'd be fun, sure. Yeah.
Where it's like Han has to, like, with Lando and a bunch of random other people, like, steal something. And maybe he ends up dropping spice. Like, maybe it ties into, why Jabba doesn't like him. Or maybe it's him in meeting Jabba. Or like, maybe, here's the thought that I came up with. So maybe, because Han is familiar with this place and familiar with Maz, maybe she was always his, what's the word I'm thinking of? Dealer. Not really dealer, but
fence?
Yeah, like his fence, or like his agent who found him jobs and stuff. So maybe she could be in this Han Solo prequel, like giving him, like, hey Han, I've got this job for you. And because he's CG and 1,000 years old, they don't have to like mess with the model. Let's not go with like Yoda when Yoda's 20 years younger in Phantom Menace and they made him some kind of terrifying puppet. So Leia's hair, I noticed. Oh, I didn't notice. My friend Greg noticed and pointed it out to me that in all the behind-the-scenes shot of Carrie Fisher, she has a ridiculous ponytail over her left shoulder, but she doesn't in the movie. So I'm guessing that, I don't know, maybe like...
Okay, here's the explanation. I got thrown from the crash and I woke up and then like, let's just forget about it.
Yeah, never mind. That's my jacket.
It's great to see you. That we literally, I don't think they actually looked into each other's eyes.
They did
more than
for a second.
Twice.
Yeah.
At the beginning, when they met, very briefly. And then after that, they were back to back, and then they were
and they were knocked
gone.
out.
Yeah. Sorry, go on. But the ponytail, you were on about the ponytail.
She has a ponytail in the behind the scenes of all of these shots. And it's just gone. They CG'd out her hair. And I don't know how or why that was, like, did Carrie Fisher come on set, like, with her own hair done? And they were just like, yeah, that's fine, Carrie. And then after she left, being like, we'll fix that later.
Fix it in post. No, this looks like, I mean, her hair is done in a conscientious, a style conscientious of the old.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't anything that Carrie Fisher came in with, I'm sure. But it's just weird for them to have changed their mind. But even when she's outside, which this is a set, and then she's outside, which means it's not like it was all the same day of filming, she has the ponytail again. So it's a consistent thing. And there's some shots from behind where you can you can kind of tell that they digitally tucked her hair into the bun. It's weird. That one was kind of, that shot was kind of wobbly. Looking at the back of her head. Don't look at the back of her head. It'll make you sick.
No, I'm staring at the fact that C-3PO has a red arm for some reason.
They revealed that last week in a comic.
Really? Oh.
He made a friend with an Imperial droid.
Uh-huh.
And then 3PO lost his arm and took that Imperial droid's arm.
Uh-huh.
Was gifted. And the comic is actually really good. It's called The Phantom Limb. Which, no, it's not a reference to the Phantom Menace. It's a reference to, like, phantom limbs, like, things that are missing from your life.
That's twice as bad, though.
But it's actually about, like, droids and getting their memories wiped. And how the Imperial droid is just like, who knows? We could have been on the same side at one point, but then our memories were wiped, and, you went with the Resistance, and I went with the First Order. Like, it could be
anything. Philosophical comic book.
It's a philosophical comic book. It really is.
Yes,
and, like, 3PO has, like, vision, just, like, single frame memories of the prequels and all the terrible things he had to do in it.
It's sort of similar to the story of how he got that like silver leg in the old films. That was told in C-3PO and the Missing Hyperdrive Unit, which was a coloring book back in the day.
But it was canon because
it was canon,
wrote
absolutely.
It.
Yep.
So I like in the bonus features that Carrie Fisher was just like, so the entire first day of filming, I forgot how to act.
I can't think of anything she's been in recently.
No, like, and she legitimately says it. And people have been like, she's not a very good actress anymore. And it's like, she apparently admits it.
Well, I mean, it's not like she was a great actress before, but there was a middle period in, like, When Harry Met Sally, and she had a small role as a therapist in the second... is it the first or the second Austin Powers movies? Where she's really quite good.
I believe it's the first one. She's in Blues Brothers. I mean, she's not in very many movies outside of Star Wars.
Right, but Blues Brothers was right after the first or second Star Wars movie. I mean, she was still in the middle of her.
I hadn't seen her in much until On the Lot. What was it called? There was a TV show, a reality show. Competition that Spielberg put on, and it was groups of people, and they had them make short films every week, and then you voted on which film you liked the best, and the judges were Gary Marshall, Carrie Fisher, and I think the third seat was usually like filled by the special guest of the week. But every time that Leia would say, every time that Carrie Fisher would say something completely inappropriate in her, smoky voice, my wife would lean over and be like, "There's your beautiful princess." Well, that's really great.
Yeah, there's very much, she's a throwback to her mother, really. I mean, cause that era of actress was all, sparkle and light and ingenue on screen. And then off screen, they were smoking and drinking and cause they were just theatrical hoofers.
So Kylo is, interrogating Rey and digging into her brain, and he sees an island in the ocean.
In her brain?
Like he says it right now. You imagine an ocean. And he sees it in an island. That's another vision. Like, she's been having Force visions before.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Luke's island. Like, but Kylo doesn't see that. He's just looking for the map when he could be, following the island.
Well, let's talk about the map, too.
Let's talk about the map, because I have theories that make a whole bunch of sense that nobody seems to listen to.
Okay, so my understanding of a map is that if you have a map, even part of a map, that it shows you where something is, then you don't need directions to get there. They seem to act like they're missing something, and it's just it's not really all it is a location. I mean, you don't need a map to find a person. You just need where is he? you know?
Right.
He's at the Walmart next to Stuckey's in Akron, Ohio.
Well,
boom,
the
go
thing
get
is,
him.
like Han says, he went to look for the first Jedi Temple. Everybody knows where he is. He's at the first Jedi Temple, but nobody knows where that is.
He's guessing that, though, yeah.
So my theory is there was a map of all the Jedi temples. Somebody took a portion of that map. Like, you see like the big line when they put it all together at the end. I believe that those are every Jedi temple, and they're all in a line, you know, probably for balancing the galaxy or something. So somebody took out the line that has like the last 7 Jedi temples on it. Maybe it was Yoda before he left, you know, when they were wiping the memory banks and stuff in Attack of the Clone, or whatever, Revenge of the Sith. So they remove that part of the map and from every backup, I guess.
She resisted you. She's strong with the Force. You can't blame me. I don't know what I was trying to get in her head. She was getting in my head. It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
This is a great part because, like, he doesn't have his helmet on, and he turns and sees Hux, and then he just kind of, his eyes get kind of big, and he turns away really fast. Like, don't look at me. I don't have my helmet on. And then he just kind of looks away from him the rest of the time.
Yeah, he's the emo Sith is the problem. Yeah, he's, people complained that he took off his helmet. It's like, oh, he's a normal looking guy. Like, but that's the joke.
That's the idea, is that he's an emo Sith. He's a wannabe. Like, he's got power, but he's completely immature.
But why doesn't he tattoo his face and give himself implanted horns like other Sith? I don't know if that's a thing or if he was born that way. He might have been born that way. I'm sorry. LGBTQ community.
So we've got Clive Owen. No, not Clive Owen.
What? Clive Owen?
No.
This guy? The Stormtrooper? What did you say?
It's who played James Bond? Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig.
This is Daniel Craig.
Really?
This is Daniel Craig in the suit and doing the voice.
Really?
Yes. And you can kind of tell, like, the way he says some of his lines, even though he's doing like an American kind of accent, you can tell that it's him. And the way that he kind of swaggers is very Daniel Craigish.
He has a certain kind of a walk. That's true. Yeah. Now, now everything's off the table. One of these guys could be Barack Obama for all I know.
It could be.
And I would. I
know that according to the credits, one of them's Michael Giacchino, the JJ's favored composer.
Oh yeah. So here again, when I watched this the first time, this didn't make any sense to me. I'm on board with everyone else saying, how does she know how to do this? But having watched it again, I realized, okay, this is really all about the Force awakening in her. And although I don't like it because it is too easy, she hasn't had even the 3 minutes of training that Luke Skywalker had in the first film. I get what they were going for, at least.
Now, and I felt like I had to stretch to come to that conclusion. But then I like how
that stormtrooper tapped the other one like, no, it's this again.
But in a few minutes when they're looking for Rey, the female stormtrooper comes up to, not Phasma, but another female stormtrooper comes up to Kylo, and he's like, look, the longer that we wait, the more powerful she becomes. He knows what's happening. He knows that
right
that she was able to use the Force to escape, and so she's gaining power exponentially, which I'll get back to the map, but Luke, why did Luke run away? Why should Luke come back? That kind of thing. I feel like
now, is that the guy from Home Improvement, Al from Home Improvement?
No, that's Greg Grunberg.
What?
That's Greg Grunberg, JJ's friend.
I'm disappointed. Okay.
He's in.
Is that Ryan Gosling in the corner? Is that Ryan Gosling
like
in the
Ryan
fish head?
Gosling. No. There's a guy who looks like Ryan Gosling though. But Greg Grunberg is from, he was one of the pilots in Lost, in the pilot that was called Pilot. Yes. He's the titular character of the pilot episode of Lost. And he's in a bunch of JJ stuff, and he was in Heroes. And his character, interestingly enough, is a grown-up version of a character from one of the new books. And I'm not making this up. Like, Timon Wexley is the character's name in Aftermath by Chuck Wendig. And they took that character. Well, I don't know which direction they did. But this is that character grown up. Like, so apparently he's going to survive this book series, this book trilogy, because he's in this movie. And he survives this movie, too. But Luke, so the Force is awakening in who knows how many people. I don't think Luke saw this coming. So Luke's just like, hey, I'm going to find these Force-sensitive guys. I'm going to train them. And then, his nephew goes crazy and kills them all. And so he feels bad. He has to come back. He has to realize that he has to come back and teach these people, because so Rey's got this awakening.
I believe that the phrase is do or do not, and he didn't, so he is not.
But he will. Like, if Rey can't be the only person, especially because Kylo knows that, if we don't find her soon, she's going to be too powerful for us to catch. This is happening to other people. Like, if some random kid on any planet is just like, oh, I can manipulate people's minds and I can, pick them up with the Force and throw them around, that's dangerous. Like, the whole galaxy is going to go crazy. So, like, Luke has a moral obligation to come back and be like, no, you need to be good.
Well, I think he kind of has a moral obligation to come back anyway, because there are really horrible, evil people. I mean, he unleashed Kylo Ren on the
but
galaxy
he's not
in the
the only
first place.
person who can stop him.
And then he's like, well, I'm just gonna back out of this one and go somewhere else.
I feel like here Kylo is going to talk about, if you don't
Tahiti,
find her soon.
I'm going to Tahiti. I hear it's a magical place, Tahiti.
That's a different Disney property.
Oh, sorry.
The longer it takes to find her, the more dangerous she becomes.
I like that as they could have actually, played that up more.
Mm-hmm.
If we could, because do we have any more visions from her or anything like that? We should see more of what's going on inside her head. Maybe the fact that we have so many characters in play actually hurts that character.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Every time we come back to Poe, I go, oh yeah, there's a guy named Poe in this movie. I forgot about
For some reason.
Oh yeah, Han Solo's in this movie, and he's meeting an old girlfriend, like in the reputed fourth Indiana Jones movie. My guess is that he's just going to keep making these sequels to old films where he just keeps meeting old girlfriends over and over.
So I believe it was around this point.
I can't wait for the sequel to Witness, where he meets up with the
sequel to Fugitive, where he finds
with the Amish girl again. He finds his wife in the Fugitive too. You are still alive. That guy.
What our man didn't kill you at all.
Oops.
It was around this point where my wife leaned over to me and she's just like, Harrison Ford's in a lot of this movie.
Yeah,
I don't think this is going to end well for him. And I was like, oh, crap.
You're right. Yeah. He's in, if he was in a little bit, you could go, okay, we'll have him
cameo
back
by Harrison Ford.
Yeah, that's fun.
Because we basically get a cameo by Carrie Fisher. She's got 2 scenes and then she stands around. But Harrison's like all over this movie.
Yes, that's true.
And when they first announced this whole thing, I was against the idea of bringing back the original cast.
I'm particularly against Han Solo because he is so singular in those early films. His character is the hardest to fit into another movie like this without radically changing him, because he's not supposed to be a smuggler anymore, for Pete's sake. He married an ambassador who's a ruler of the galaxy or something like that. But they just went, nope, let's throw that away. No, he's a smuggler again. Let's put him in the jacket. Put him in the jacket.
It's a different jacket. Like he tells Leia.
Yeah, we've captured Captain Phasma. See, the fact that she's 6'5" or whatever.
Yeah, she's almost as tall as Chewie. No, Gwendolyn Christie.
Or Chewie's stand-in, whichever one.
Gwendolyn Christie is a saint, and she can be in whatever she wants to be in.
I don't know her from anything else, but as soon as I saw her out of the costume, I was like, she's great. Say again?
She's from Game of Thrones.
Oh, no wonder I don't know her. Okay.
She's one of the not quite as evil as everybody else characters. She's actually one of the few people I would describe her as being a good person. She's like the only character in that show who you can describe as her motives are always pure, from what I remember. And she's 6'5" and, has a giant sword. Kicks everybody's butt.
Seems like an inconvenient place to put a switch of any kind, but yeah. Okay.
And, you could just be like, how would she know that? Well, she's literally been crawling inside Star Destroyers her entire life.
And that would be great for her, for somebody to say, or somehow,
but they don't
for that
need
to come
to
across.
Acknowledge that. They don't need to say, like, you're strong with the Force because of the Force and it's awakening, and, And it's not like I had to
just
read
what
a
you
book
said right
for
there.
that.
The fact that she knows how to find that, it's because she's been crawling inside those other spaceships all the time. This is where we're kind of missing. We don't need another character. Don't get me wrong, but in most adventures, you have a sidekick. The hero has a sidekick that they talk to about stuff like that, and that's how stuff like that gets delivered.
Yeah, but it's hard to do that to the character that you're like, hey, Ray, you know this because X,
Well, no, I mean, you would have a character go, how did you know that was there? It's
right.
like, I've been crawling inside these since I was a baby.
Yeah, maybe the movie assumes too much.
I mean, that's a minor moment. There's a whole lot more questions about the Force stuff, though. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But she doesn't know the answer to that. And hopefully it's going to get answered in the next film.
Yeah. I'm sure Luke, I think the movie's going to pick up right where this one left off. So he's just going to open his mouth and be like, okay, so you're Obi-Wan Kenobi's granddaughter for some reason. And, and you're strong with the Force because the Force is awakening because there aren't any Sith anymore and there aren't any Jedi anymore. And so the Force is just like, if I'm going to have to recruit people and Luke's going to run away, then I'm just going to have to do this myself. And the Force just gave everybody powers. The Stormtroopers have a lot of repetitive dialogue from the original movies. We think they may be splitting up. The other one earlier asked, do you see that new T-17? It's like all the...
Oh, they actually use that? Yeah.
Which in the original is like T-16 or something. So, they upped it by one.
Ooh.
But the subtitles actually showed their conversation. It's a little bit different than the Stormtroopers that Obi-Wan distracts.
Wait, why are you doing this?
Why are you doing this?
I'm trying to come up with a plan.
She doesn't need rescuing.
Well, that's weird. In my experience as a soldier clone raised from birth to be a heartless soldier, girls are pretty incompetent. So I just assume that they always need rescuing.
I think, again, that's something to do with his idea of heroism. You got to rescue the girl. Like he grew up watching the original trilogy or something. So these blasters, they've got a red light on them when somebody pulls the trigger, which is kind of cool and something. There's a lot of things in this movie that I can't believe that they didn't figure out in earlier movies. Like, why don't we make the lightsabers glow?
You mean for
like
real?
Like for real, so that, we
prop.
don't have to do lighting later in computers.
Yeah, well, in the original films, they didn't have a way of doing
right.
it.
But I find it hard to believe in episode 3, 10 years ago, that they couldn't figure out, like, how to build a light-up stick that is relatively strong.
Well, Lucas had such faith in the post-process, though, that he just felt like computers could do anything. Mm-hmm. Like, look at that perfect CG Yoda that they made. I mean...
The CG Yoda is okay. It's that puppet that they had at first.
That's true. You're right. The original puppet that
CPY, creepy puppet Yoda.
They've replaced it with CG later in the special edition of the sequels, prequels.
The second version of the Phantom Menace special edition. That's my thing. I don't know if you knew that, but
what's
categorizing that? And labeling all of the special edition changes to the original trilogy. So that's how I like the specialized edition. I'm in the credits for that because I help point out all the different, they changed this effect and, this thing doesn't line up all the way. And
that's cool. I like that idea because we need a despecialized edition. We need an edition that is just the original, but in it as good of, high resolution as it deserves. How do you feel about what's his name, Adawan, who is making his own carbonite Han Solo because he's wearing the wrong shirt in the original?
Now, Adawan's a good friend of mine, actually.
But I mean, how do you? I don't care I don't care that he's doing that. But
no.
I mean, how do you feel about that?
I think he's a perfectionist that. You can't talk him out of anything. Like, you can't do that. That's something that we're just going to have to live with. Nope, I'm going to fix it. And we're all like, I'm part of his inner circle. Even in the inner circle, we're all like, dude, you don't have to do this. He's like, no, I got this. Right now, he's working on some of the matte paintings of Hoth. The Echo base are a little flat. So he's building a 1/72 scale model of the Echo base.
Of course. So that, so it doesn't have to be a matte painting even. So you get the three-dimensional aspect.
Because he's got,
to it.
They make models, all the models of the ships in that scale. So he's got a Millennium Falcon and an X-Wing and snow speeders and stuff. So that he could just film it at that scale and then... He's always saying how grateful he is for his wife to let him use the kitchen. He's like, there's always something, a swamp or an ice cavern.
Han Solo, I've been waiting for this day for a long time.
Yeah, and of course at this point, we're all like, well, he's dead. Don't walk out on that. Nope, okay, you're dead.
Yes. Yeah, for one thing, just tonally, it echoes the original Star Wars with Vader meeting Obi-Wan.
And we've got, there were railings, but now there's not.
Gotta throw away the railings. Yeah, there are. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're standing in front of a railing.
There was railings, and then of course where it gets really dangerous.
I don't like to take off my helmet. You know that. I have helmet hair.
His hair always looks perfect when he takes it off.
I need to fluff it now. Don't look at me while I fluff.
He just shakes his head like a dog. So this is very like the inner turmoil that you want. If they had originally decided that Darth Vader was Anakin Skywalker from the beginning, this is the kind of stuff you would want this, or something, taking place shortly after Revenge of the Sith. Like, Darth Vader kills Anakin Skywalker, is not only just something that Obi-Wan says, Kylo's kind of repeating it here, that your son is dead, I destroyed him. Like, Kylo Ren has killed Ben Solo. Ben Organa Solo, I don't know how the names work.
Ethelbert, I think his middle name is Ethelbert.
Oh, yeah. Named after Chewie.
I'm being torn apart. I want to be bad, but I have these weird tendencies to be good for some reason.
Yeah, that's a very interesting concept. I like the idea of, like, resisting the temptation to be good. Like, it's just coming at it from the opposite side. Like, Vader was always the strong silent type, so it's interesting to see dark Jedi from this point being like, I don't want to be good. I want to be bad.
The other day I baked some cookies for someone's birthday, and I had to destroy them. Down the trash compactor.
Snoke's like, no, you can't make cookies for people.
Stop doing stuff like
Were
that.
they poison cookies? Kind of like Dr. Evil and Scott Evil.
That's right. He's always doing that. An evil petting zoo?
Snoke, I have a lightsaber in my room. Let me go get it. And we just kill him right now. No.
Wait a minute. Why weren't they shooting him?
I don't know.
What is the justification for this?
The stormtroopers were all just like, dude, he totally killed his dad.
Why are we all just watching and no one is doing anything? There are no stormtroopers shooting at the good guys. Even.
Yeah.
There's no excuse.
Until Chewie opens fire. Maybe Kylo said, don't shoot until you're fired upon or something.
But, like, why? Like, Chewie is just like, man, I gotta, what am I gonna do? I guess I got this gun I could shoot him with.
To blast him.
It would have been, I don't know. I don't like how that was handled. I'm not sure how that, if it would have been cooler if as soon as he, activated his lightsaber, Chewie was blasting him, and we don't, because we don't really need that moment of like, what have I done to my father? It's a silly dramatic beat that has been played out way too often, too many times. It happens all the time. So where characters take too long to have an emotional moment, so it would be fun to undercut it by just having him blasted away at the time. But of course he has to survive.
And you would miss the Leia shot. I think that really works. Her feeling it through the Force.
We might as well cut to Luke. We gotta cut to Akbar going, oh, what happened? Is it a trap?
Gotta cut from that other guy from Lost.
I just felt something in my swim bladder.
And of course Kylo comes out ahead of them. Which I actually saw somebody complain about. I'm like, he's could use the Force. Why wouldn't he be ahead of them?
Well, yeah, that becomes an explanation for everything, yeah.
Well, yeah, a wizard did it. It's the perfect explanation. And then,
right.
if it fits.
We're not done yet. I just killed my father, and now I'm also going to kill you. I actually don't remember why you're important.
Well,
I think I already got the thing I needed from you.
He didn't. But I think at this point, he's figured out who Rey is, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, he's just going after her because he realizes she's a threat.
Right.
Because she's strong in the Force?
Yeah, that's what it is. Because he knows that, because he said that the longer we wait, the more powerful she's going to become. So, yeah, I think that he knows that he's got to take care of her before she runs off and becomes good.
I'm not really paying attention to the film. I don't even know. I don't know how we got from the. I thought we were on a ship, and now we're in a forest with snow.
They're on that planet.
And Rey did not say, "What is this stuff falling all around us? It's cold."
She's read books too, I guess.
I guess she's seen movies.
She's seen the original trilogy too. She just only paid attention to.
Read the Han Solo comic books. Hoth. This is like Hoth. This is just like Hoth.
I really like the lights. The lighted lightsabers really works.
Oh no, you touched me.
And everybody was given that lightsaber crap. It works.
Yeah, I even saw a guy who was like an expert with swords.
Yeah.
Like actually put things on the quillions of his sword and going and like swung it around like, no, it actually works fine.
Yeah. They were like, won't you stab yourself? No.
It doesn't address the fact that it is a dumb idea. Maybe I need to be able to stab somebody with the end of my sword.
Yeah.
Wow, that was cool. Yeah, yeah.
Did you know?
She just did that.
Nobody made a big deal about it, but like the week before the movie came out, the Star Wars Twitter account was having a like question and answer session, Q&A with the cast, and somebody asked, "What's your favorite action scene?" And Harrison Ford's response was the battle between Rey and Kylo Ren. Which one? Who lets that question be asked? 2, who lets Harrison Ford send that tweet from the official Star Wars account? 3, who doesn't delete it immediately? It's like we didn't even... I mean, they went out of their way to not make Rey toys because they didn't want you to know that she had a lightsaber. And here he's just like, I like the one where they fight with the lightsabers. And somebody just let it go. I happened to catch it, and I was just like, damn it, Harrison, you spoilers.
Yeah, the toys thing was extra clumsy because it took them a while to come out with that toy even after the movie came out. And people were like, well, how come no girl toys? What the hell?
Well, I think all these part of the thing is they're just like, well, nobody...
Like, where's the girl toys?
Nobody bought the original lines of figures.
I want a pink lightsaber, and she should ride a unicorn. I don't know why I'm saying these things.
I don't know either.
Weapons fully charged in 30 seconds. We need some kind of a super Death Star that doesn't need to charge for 30 seconds.
But hey, it's better than the Death Star clearing the planet in the first movie and then being like, you want to charge up the weapon now? Yeah, let's start that. To be fair, last weekend when I watched A New Hope, a friend of mine pointed out, well, maybe the Death Star can't move while it's charging. Maybe like like all the thrusters have to be off, and I don't know. But they blow the hell out of this thing.
Okay, maybe we should stop making one at a time. Maybe we should like 8, make 8 at a time.
What? For the cost that it took to build this,
right.
That destroys a whole system, we could have 8 Death Stars that could destroy a whole system.
Now, this seems to be the perfect opportunity for him to recruit her to the dark side because she's got no training.
Well, he tries.
She's only got this skill, and she's just being angry and revengeful and everything. And he should be like, "Yes, use your anger." Maybe that's counterintuitive. Yeah. That's not good psychology, really. Use your anger. Yes, yes.
I mean, yeah, the Emperor was doing that when it was Luke versus Vader, not like Luke versus the Emperor. It's not like that Palpatine was like tempting Yoda. Like, yeah, you're angry that I killed all these Jedi, huh?
Use that against
me.
He could, I don't know, he could be saying something.
He is. He's like, you need a teacher. I can teach you. But then he mentioned the Force, and then she remembered like, oh yeah, I think I can use that.
Yeah, well, that was probably not a good technique either. You need a teacher.
You need a teacher to use the Force that you're already powerful in. You convinced James Bond to open the door for you, so. And then it seems like she's using anger.
Oh, God. Well, even Luke Skywalker in that battle was using anger against, he was no Zen master in Return of the Jedi.
So Kylo left his helmet in there and it exploded. And now she's about to cut his lightsaber. So everything that makes Kylo Ren or makes even The Force Awakens unique is gone. Maybe he'll build another crossguard lightsaber, but...
Oh, he'll build something else. Yeah, he'll build... let's see, we've already had a duel, 2 ends, and now we've had with the crossguard, so next it will be probably one of those highlight rackets with the basket on the end.
Hey, those are in this universe. Anakin had some hanging in his room on Tatooine.
And that'll be a lightsaber of some sort.
But now he's got a cool scar, so he doesn't really need a helmet.
Why is the ground collapsing?
Because the planet's exploding.
Why is the planet exploding?
Because it has the power of a sun in the middle of it.
in the middle of, because they destroyed the middle of it. Okay.
Right, because they destroyed the thing that makes it so that the sun doesn't escape before they explode. Before they shoot it, I guess.
Is there a countdown somewhere? There should be a countdown.
I think the perfectly timed countdowns to something that we could have never predicted.
Yes.
Like in every other movie. You have 6
minutes to get off the planet.
How
yes.
do you know that? And he still goes in to call Snoke. And it's just like, what if Snoke was busy at this time? What the?
Yeah, he can't pull out a cell phone and call him on the run. He's got to go into the special telephone chamber. The hologram chamber.
Don't move him. God, he's injured. Yeah, lean on him. That's better. I know you hurt your back here.
Well, they do that in movies all the time. Yeah, you're in a car crash and then they drag the person out of the car. It's like, that is a no-no. You have just broken his spine.
More even than before.
It was damaged before and now, yes, you've twisted it. Here, yeah, we don't put him on a backboard or anything. You got a backboard somewhere in the Millennium Falcon, Chewie?
Yeah, it takes him 20 minutes to get him off the planet. What happened to the sense of urgency? Shut up.
Meanwhile, Poe has just been flying around and flying around. Was he fighting anybody out there?
I don't know. Just blowing up TIE fighters because he can. So I wonder if this like gels into a new sun. Like their sun just moved over, a couple hundred miles.
And they all went happily ever after into hyperspace.
I like that they built the full-size Falcon and all these full-size X-Wings.
Yeah, they built this in, I think, Wales somewhere.
And a lot of people give this crap. The fact that Leia doesn't hug Chewie first. But I feel like that's okay because I'm sure that Wookiees have their own way of mourning. And maybe, like, physical contact is not what you do. I mean, he did fail at his life debt.
I'm pretty sure that he hugs people in the other movies.
No, when you're in mourning, though. I'm saying
you're in mourning.
Maybe their mourning process is...
Well, maybe he hangs a necklace of bananas around his neck. We don't know, but I mean, that's just pure speculation at this point. He appears to be moaning because he doesn't quite that. He does a lot of that in the movies in general.
Well, R2's awake.
Oh, yeah, we've hit that story beat. Time to wake up.
I felt like you blew up the Death Star.
I'm beeping excitedly. Oh, you were awake.
Okay, so
wonderful.
So they're going to pull up the map again. I need it.
There is a reset button on those units, though. I got one on my computer. There's one on my phone. You have to like take a paper clip and unfold it, so you just get the little point, and you have to get in there pretty deep. But you could reset an R2 unit like that, make it come back on.
So the map, we have a map of the galaxy with a hole in it. So if the First Order has that, they're like, Luke's somewhere in this hole. That hole could take like 1,000 years to search. We don't know how big the galaxy is.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
So I mean, this is to counteract people complaining and stuff. So, and then let's say you have this piece here. If you don't have the map with the hole in it, you don't know where that piece starts. So you don't know where any of these planets are. And again, taking 1 billion years to find.
Well, except that that piece by itself has like stars in it and everything, and you definitely could fit that into another star map. Because
maybe they don't. Maybe that's the only map of the galaxy.
That's the only map of the galaxy. Like if you had a jigsaw puzzle of like kitty cats playing with a ball of yarn, and one piece was missing, and then I had that one piece. And I knew it was kitty cats playing with a ball of yarn. I could just go to the store and buy that kitty cat playing with a ball of yarn, puzzle, and I would know where it fits.
Yeah, maybe.
But not only that, it's like it actually has like dotted lines showing how to get to him or something. It's a galaxy. You can get to it from any direction.
No, I think those are the dotted lines of the migration of the Jedi from the first temple to wherever they spread out.
Oh, I don't think that's a good theory, but okay.
I think it's a map of Jedi temples. And if you just have... And they didn't have the other piece. The Max von Sydow had it. So they couldn't have matched it with another galaxy. They may not have needed R2 at all. But R2 just happened to have the map with the hole in it. I don't know.
Right. Well, they talked a lot about R2. R2's asleep. We can't wake him up. We don't know what's wrong. I'm really worried about him. We got to wake him up because he's got the map.
He's not in this shot, though. That's interesting. He didn't come out to see everybody off. Oh, because he's on the ship. Never mind. R2.
Still, I still maintain that you don't need a map to find someone. You just need the coordinates. Like, this is where I am. I am at Shakey's Pizza.
Yeah, but he didn't tell everybody where he went. He went to a mythical place that may not exist. The first Jedi Temple. Which one's the first one?
But it has
Is it
coordinates,
the second to last
though.
one?
It has coordinates, if nothing else.
So they go to Ireland.
The fundamental problem is that George Lucas is like my father. He thinks everything has to be on paper. You have to have a physical copy of it. George Lucas thinks that we only have like the robot has the Death Star plans. We just need to get that robot.
Right.
It's not like we could make a copy of the Death Star
or
plans.
Transmit
Maybe they've
it
already
like it was transmitted to them.
Maybe they've already phoned a copy to someone else on a modem.
Send it to everybody in the galaxy.
CC everyone. I can't believe we let that get out that way. It's already on WikiLeaks. Now everybody can get to it. First of all, put a block on WikiLeaks on the firewall. That's step one.
I like that you can see the Falcon in the background of a lot of these shots. Like, because she's just wandering. She's on the same side of the island. So whenever they look down, you can see the Falcon in the distance. It's like, that's good that they noticed that.
Do we know physically where this place is? For real? It's got to be a real place,
Ireland.
Right? Yeah.
You can, if you donate to Force for Change, you can win a trip to this.
Oh man, are those smugglers going to find her here if it's in Ireland? Because that guy was clearly Irish. Clearly an Irish smuggler.
Now here's Luke. We haven't seen him since Shards of Alderaan, the old EU book.
He zips up his fly and turns around. What? Oh yeah.
Oh, this girl. I thought I left you on a desert planet.
Thought I had a weird feeling in my head. I shouldn't look so surprised.
Maybe Luke left her there on purpose. Like, if I grew up on a desert planet, it turned out all right. She'll be just fine.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
My favorite meme.
I hope she
from this
can bullseye
movie, there was a
Wolfrats.
hand. Did you bring the hand?
What?
She brought the lightsaber. There was a hand with that. Did you bring the hand?
Oh, I need the hand. Yeah, he seems to have worn off the flesh on his robot hand. I'm not going to speculate on how that happened.
And this is the only Star Wars movie to end on a moving shot. And it's a helicopter shot, and it's very strange.
Yeah, I don't know. All of a sudden there's a moment where it becomes
Sound of music.
Sound of music. I was going to say Highlander.
Oh, that too. But it's Ireland, not Scotland.
Well, I don't know. It's close. As long as you put
Space
some
Highlander,
Queen
so it's
music.
Highlander too.
As long as you put Queen music on it, it'll work.
So the credits. That was Star Wars.
That was Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Yeah, The Force awakened a lot. It did a lot of awakening there. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if it only awakened in one person or if it was awakening in more than one person.
I don't know. we'll hopefully find out. Luke will be like, "Yeah, I've been watching everybody, and crap's getting real. I need to come back."
Poe's got a little bit of force.
Maybe his ship fell apart or something. I've been waiting on somebody to find me so you could take me home.
Finn's got maybe a little bit of force. Get a little bit, not a lot, but Poe some.
Poe some, yeah.
Yeah. Forces awakening in the Chewbacca a little bit. He was starting. You didn't talk to him very much. If you had talked to him, he would tell you, like, I'm starting to feel stuff I never felt before.
250 years old, but I'm just feeling it now. Phasma's got some force.
For sure. Oh, absolutely, yeah. I feel a real, like, Willow vibe from her, where she's going to end up falling in love with Poe or something.
I hope so.
Yeah, that was a great part in Willow. That what was it, Joanne Wally, right? Fell in love with Val Kilmer.
I've seen Willow once.
Oh, okay. Oh, she played the bad guy. That was the twist in that movie. She played the bad guy, and then she fell in love with him, and she was like, "I don't understand this. I guess I'm going to be a good guy now." And then surely at some point I thought for sure, at least in this movie, we were going to see a race of alien duck people to make all of the whole Lucasverse tie together.
And tie to Marvel.
Exactly. It's natural, and yet they still didn't.
I mean, I watched it all the way to the end. Guardians of the Galaxy ended with a Howard the Duck cameo.
Son of a bitch, you're right. It was in that one. We can't cross them over now. Even though there's a lot there, especially in the jackets, I think that is very, very similar.
Okay, so we should go through the rest of the book's titles that we came up with.
I don't remember which ones we've already said.
Go through it. Just go through the list.
Wookiees. Secrets of a Jawa Chambermaid. Did I say that one? For all the Imperial credits. Princess Leia, high school senator. That was like a young adult novel. Fires of a Distant Volcano World. When a Jedi Loves a Jedi. Oh. Did I go through all of the Coruscant Zoo adventures? Because I got some more Coruscant Zoo adventures.
No, I think that was before we started.
Bantha with a backache. Well, I said Ranker's Dental Dilemma, a Coruscant Zoo adventure. Bantha with a backache, Glittering Minox, yeah. That's pretty much all of mine.
I had Trouble with Tauntauns.
Yo, that's good.
Darth Manos, The Hands of the Sith. The Akbar Trap. The Price of Bothan Lives.
Love it.
The Dark Family of Han Solo. And the sequel, The Secret Family of Dark Han Solo. And the sequel to that, The Family Crystal of Secret Dark Han Solo. All that jizz. The
about
music, the Cantina band.
It's special.
The Leia trilogy, Leia Jedi Knight, Leia Dark Jedi Knight, Leia maybe just a general. The 1979 classic, The Son of Darth Vader, where his son is revealed to be, this big evil bad guy who Luke fights. Yeah. And then the 1982 classic, The Wedding of Luke Skywalker and Leia Organa. But that one, they pretend to get married. It's a cover. They're going undercover on Cloud City to try.
Well, they had to retcon the whole thing with it.
Right. Eventually, it was just a cover story to just to get them onto Cloud City to try to find out where Han was. We've got Fire Witches of the Dagobah Force Caves.
Oh, I love it. Yes, great.
And Force Witches of the Dagobah Fire Caves. And Tales from the Wampus Cave.
Oh, I like that. Yes.
And Shadow of the Force. And I did.
Did I mention Wampa Beach?
You missed Wampa.
That was another one of mine. Okay.
Good stuff. Greg Harbin, my friend Greg Harbin, came up with most of those.
When you and I were tweeting, I was like, I'm starting to make up titles to mention. And then I just kept going and going, and I said, I got to stop and take real notes now. But then when I watched the movie again, I went, I don't know if I'm going to use any of these titles because I think I have a lot to say about the movie. We could talk about the movie the whole time.
Let's see if I have any notes. My mom's review. My mom texted me after she watched it, and she said R2 was cute. I think she meant BB-8. Luke, the same whiny character. She's whined. Mama's complained for years about how whiny Luke Skywalker is.
Really?
So
I've heard that complaint before, but we only see Luke Skywalker for 15 seconds.
Right.
Though.
But this is what my mom interpreted from that 15 seconds. This guy won't listen to me. I'm not going to play anymore. I'm just going to move to this island and pout.
Oh, well, yeah, yeah. Well, I think I would agree with that almost.
My coworker, John Roller, asked me, how does anyone trust Leia? Her dad was Darth Vader, and her son is the new Darth Vader.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yes. That could be a great reveal in the next film.
Yeah, that would be weird to be like, oh, what's, why do we listen to you?
But I don't think she's going to want to lose the weight again for the next film, so she's going to try to get out of it. There was a big deal about this. She shouldn't be in this film. She's a little heavy. The internets are funny.
Yeah, the internets are very much fun. All the complaining about, like, Rey being a Mary Sue. Like, oh, they just wanted a strong female character, and so they just let her do everything better than everybody else. I'm like, but she has a reason to be. How does she know how to fix the Falcon? Because she knows how to fix things. Her job is to find broken stuff and fix it.
Yeah, I didn't interpret her as a Mary Sue because things don't always go her way. Yes, she's maybe a little more capable than she ought to be. And I've complained about that a little bit, especially with the Force, because she hasn't had any training. But yeah, she's certainly not a Mary Sue, I would say. But yeah, that certainly was a complaint at the time. My biggest complaints are that the whole plot itself is too much retreaded from if that's a verb, from the earlier films where we're going after a planet-killing gun again. And meanwhile, the secret to that is hidden in a robot that we have to find on a desert.
Yeah, I was really disappointed when, Poe's just like, take this and, go away with it. I'm like, no, please don't do that. Don't do that. Only because
everything was okay.
Because I wasn't going to enjoy it, because I knew that people were going to complain about it.
Everything was, even that stuff was okay to me until they came out with the super duper planet killing, multiple planet
that nobody
killing,
mentions before that point,
gun.
Even the opening crawl.
Right. And then it's like, we're going to see, the thing about this is that it's bigger and it can shoot multiple planets at once because of all the trouble we had with the previous weapons. They didn't shoot enough planets at the same time.
Only problem.
That was the problem. That was the only problem. But then secondarily, very much secondarily, is the fact that, like, I don't understand why she can do this with the Force so easily. But on second viewing, I feel like, okay, actually, I think they built it in a little bit, and we're probably going to get more of an explanation next time, and I'm cool with that. I'm only
going to have a problem with, like, it's like Star Trek and Star Trek Into Darkness. I was okay with the first movie. And I was like, we've got this opportunity to tell new stories with Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. That's great. And what's the first thing they do? Is retell old stories. And I was like, God, right, yes. No, don't do that. This one, I feel like it's okay that they made A New Hope for the next generation. If you want to, pigeonhole it like that. But if the next one is pretty much just Empire Strikes Back, then I'm really going to have a problem.
For sure. All right. Thank you very much for joining me on this. It's been a great deal of fun. Well, I'm sure there will be other opportunities in the future for other Star Wars movies, other Disney movies in general. I think all movies are Disney movies at this point, right?
At this point, yeah.
Just about.
Muppets are Disney. Marvel's Disney. Spider-Man's Disney now.
And Star Wars. And they still have that wealth of actual old school Disney stuff, like the computer wore tennis shoes that they haven't exploited.
That's true. They haven't.
That's got.
Let's make sequels to that.
That's got to come
War
back.
Games 2, Actually, no, they made War Games 2. Never mind.
They did. Blackbeard's Ghost. Where's that stuff?
Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh, wait. No, we've got 8 of those.
Wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. We got to make that into a movie, I think, right?
Definitely.
Still don't understand how that thing works. Okay. Thank you very much for joining me on this. And if you're listening, thank you.
That's a good ending.
I don't know. It's not my usual ending, but okay. I guess it works.